Hi, it's time for another story from Peasville. I wonder what we've got today. Let's have a look. Mr Jaloppea's new track. Where have you seen a track before? Are there any clues on the front cover for us to have a look at today? I think there is. It's very big, very noisy, and very heavy. Can you see a train on the front cover? I can. Let's find out about Mr Jaloppea's new track. Look where we are. Mr Jaloppea's steam works. I think he's very busy at the moment. Let's find out what he's up to. Mr Joloppea was so excited, you see. Why, the whole town of Peasville was coming to a stop. They were going to build 4 new bridges. Let's find out where the bridges are going to be built. Here's a map of Peasville. One across each of the rivers that run into Peasville. Then the 2 ends of Mr Jaloppea's track would join up together instead of running backwards and forwards. You see, then he could run right around without stopping. Oh, it was going to be so much fun. Let's see. Here's the track, and he's going to be able to go right the way around Peasville. But there are some spaces, and that's where they're going to need to build the bridges. Mr Joloppea backed up to the timber yard, and all the prominent, very important citizens of Peasville loaded great big long planks and boxes of nails and hammers onto his flat car. They're going to be very busy. Inspector Peabobby and Constable Koppy were directing the whole show. No one had ever done anything like this in Peasville before. Have a look at the 2 policemen up the top there, blowing their whistles and making sure everything goes according to plan. When you have a big job like this to do, you don't want anything to go wrong. Why, even Mr Peabaker had closed his daily bread shop. Look, there's a sign painted in red. Let's read it together. There will be no daily bread. I'm out playing with trains instead. My goodness me. I hope nobody comes looking for bread. Do you know that when I read that sign, I heard some words that sounded exactly the same. Let's have another listen. There will be no daily bread. I'm out playing with trains instead. Did you hear those rhyming words? You listen again. Bread instead. They're rhyming words and they sound just the same. Mr Joloppea stoked up a full head of steam and started pulling all the timber and all the folk of Peasville right along the track to the first river. Can you see the steam? Look at all the steam chug-a-lugging out of the train. Everybody's having so much fun. I can see lots of tools along the side of the train here. I wonder if they're going to be used to help build the bridge as well. Let's find out. Mr Steampea the lifter and his great big clangy lifting machine were going along as well. They'd hitched a ride, you see. This is a very interesting looking train. There's Mr Steampea right up the front. And there are lots of other people along the side. Can you see the wood that they're going to be using to build the bridges? Professor Swampy, the paleontologist, and his faithful companion Pierre had picked the site. They'd surveyed the ground and dug the holes and dusted everything off the rocks with their brushes. They were sure this was the right site to put across the first bridge, you see. Why, even the puppy hounds were wagging their tails. Can you see the puppy hounds? Look, here's one down here. Look at those. I'll tell you what, my puppy doesn't look like that. She has long, fluffy ears like these puppy hounds, but she certainly isn't as colourful as these puppy hounds. I hope they have got the right spot. The whole town of Peasville was hammering in nails and chopping down this and cutting up that and painting things red and green and yellow. Oh, they were having a lovely time. Let's have a look at all the paint. This paint tin has green paint in it. What colour paint is in this tin here? What about this tin? This is a tricky one. Have you ever hammered nails before? What do you have to be very careful not to do? Hit your thumb. When they'd finished laying all of the track on the first bridge, Inspector Peabobby slowly waved Mr Joloppea across. Why, look! All the prominent folk of Peasville were waving and jumping and shouting. They were having such a lovely time. It was the first bridge ever to be built in Peasville, you see. Here's Mr Peabobby, making sure once again that everything goes according to plan. Hate to have anybody hit their thumb again with the hammer. They quickly laid all the track down to the next river. By the time they'd finished the second bridge, why, it was nearly lunchtime. They're very quick at building bridges. Mr Peabobby had set up a cart and was selling buns with raisins and sultanas and full of cream. Oh, they were the most pea-munchous buns in all of Peasville. What a wonderful word, pea-munchous. What do you think it means? Let's imagine if we were eating a cream bun with lovely raisins and sultanas in it. It would be delicious, wouldn't it? I'm sure that's what that word means as well. They certainly have deserved their lunch today. 2 bridges in one morning. Wow. All the pea folk had agreed that straight after lunch they were going to build the 3rd and 4th bridges. Then Mr Joloppea could surely run right around all of Peasville. It was going to be so exciting. Mr Joloppea had never been right around Peasville before, not to mention driving across 4 bridges, 4 new bridges. That makes it even more exciting. Looks like they're all having a very well-deserved rest. Mr Steampea, the lifter's clangy lifting machine, could finally lift the last piece of rail into place. Even the chickpeas 1, 2 and 3 were enjoying the ride. Skid the gecko scuttled out of the way. He didn't want to get landed with a rail, you see. Here he is down here. I think he should get out of the way, otherwise he'd be a very squashed gecko. The last spike was put in. Then the whole pike was finally complete. Why, look! The whole town of Peasville had hopped on. Why, they were hanging on to this and hanging on to that. Nobody wanted to fall off, you see. Toot, toot, and away they went. Oh, they were all having such a lovely ride all the way around Peasville. Gee, that looks like fun. They went up all the hills and down through the tunnels and across all the bridges at least 7 times. Look at that wonderful bridge. Mr Jompy, the electrician, had run electric string all the way up to the front of Mr Joloppea so he could see at night. You see? There's the electric string all the way running down here. It's very important for trains to be able to see at night, just like when you're driving in your car, you need the lights on at night. And when the full moon finally came up over Peasville, why look, the whole town was still clambering around on the back of Mr Joloppea. They were having such a lovely time. They'd never done anything like this in Peasville before. Oh, Peasville is such a beautiful place. And that's the end of our story again. I hope you'll join us again for another story very soon. Bye.